I love that because every part of what you just said is the exact opposite of what Father Ankido was talking about. Of the communal meal, Brother Matthew cooks. It's just beautiful.
Sexual immorality is actually after something good. It's just a bad means. And when you get to that something good, you don't need the poor means anymore.
It's almost like the part of the solution is in interacting with somebody who's living a lifestyle like that is, okay, I'm going to show you in my example as a Christian what actual love might look like. And that means I'm going to be the one. Father Tristan, what did you describe yourself as earlier, just now?
I said I'm tilted.
You're tilted.
Yes, I'm very tilted.
What is, please explain the
etymology.
The nuance of the, you're the only one that knows, that knows like the lingo now, I think.
Tilted
Is he the youngest still?
Yeah.
Priest?
Age-wise.
Age-wise.
I don't really think about that stuff.
Go to tilted, go. Tell me.
Yeah, he's on a...
Tilted, it refers to like someone just being overly done, you know, about to go overboard, basically. Just have had enough. So you get like frustrated. So I'm tilted.
Do you know where it comes from?
Yeah, I think I've heard it playing video games.
That's what I think. I think when you would play, what were those?
CSGO.
What were the games? Paddleball, not paddleball.
Bro, he always has an explanation for things.
What is
like
Andrew?
this.
Pinball, and you would mess with the machine and you would tilt it, and it would say tilt, and it would like, because if you tilt it, the ball would move.
So you're tilted.
He
you're
strikes
tilted.
again, bro. He strikes again.
That's a good one.
I think it's interesting.
It is.
Old man
But
comment.
how do you know these fun
let's say
facts
you're
about...
playing like Call of Duty and you're just getting killed over and over and over again. You know, you're on tilt.
You're on tilt.
It's a good
So
word.
when the machine goes on tilt, it stops functioning. That's what you're saying. Is that where you're at?
No, I can.
The mind of a philosopher.
Yeah, I don't know. You
We
guys
love
are
you,
all
man.
here, and I'm happy to see.
We're
you guys
very happy that
together.
you're here. The show would be nothing
No,
without
I can't touch this. What they told me I can't touch a lot of things last time.
You were fiddling?
I
Get
fiddle.
the rosary or the thing.
I should
beads.
bring it.
Well, welcome to another episode of Feeding Fathers, everyone.
These are awesome.
Today we're going to be welcoming our brother, Father Tristan, Abbot Ankido, Corbishop, Monsignor Andrew Younan to this episode.
Welcome to Feeding Fathers.
Welcome to Feeding Fathers, everyone. How was everyone's week going? Masses and everything?
Good.
What? You have something to say?
Good.
Yeah.
What happened?
It was Comic-Con weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Comic-Con's fun, man.
Brija,
It's a
man.
good time in San Diego.
Yeah. It's always in San Diego, right?
That one is, yeah. There's other conventions, but Comic-Con is. And I never like thought about it. And then a few years ago, I think Andrew had like an extra badge, and I went inside. And it's actually really, I don't think it's that fun to go inside of it, but like San Diego becomes just weird during
Yeah.
those days. And
Good
it's
for
fun.
the economy, too.
It's good for but it's like all the people go and they're excited, and like it's like Disneyland. Like people are dressed up and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's just a fun thing. Yeah.
Everywhere I go during Comic-Con, people think I'm going to Comic-Con. It's the habit.
Oh yeah. Remember when we went to a Renaissance fair?
Escondido, right?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
we
Renaissance.
Yeah, yeah.
We went and everyone thought we were in costume.
Yep.
Because I was wearing a cassock, he was wearing the thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
was
hey,
funny.
could I take a picture with you?
Yeah.
No one ever takes me seriously on Halloween day. If I'm like out in public and I'm wearing my
Oh, they think it's a
clerics.
costume?
Yeah. Someone will
Have you ever
say,
done the
hey,
thing
I
where-
get it.
Have you ever done the thing where it's like, actually, I'm a real priest, man? You know?
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah,
ever done that
I
before?
did that at
The-
Costco
The response is like,
once.
oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You know, like,
Yep.
Or some just walk away.
No, I've never experienced
you
that.
never wear collars, that's why.
I do. I do. I'm wearing one right now.
You wear it more than I do.
By the way,
Yeah.
what's the historical side of clergy attire? We never had collars. That's generally a new thing. Roman collars. Cassocks is also
Here's what I know.
new. Maybe
Here's-
a garb.
Here's the bit that I know. There's a lot that I don't know. Here's what I know. I know that the button-up cassock,
Roman.
we call it the Roman cassock. I've read this in a French Revolution history book. It was invented, I think, in France around a little bit before the French Revolution, and
Oh.
it was So that was sort of when it started. The white collar thing is just a remnant from a
sweat.
white like little napkin you would put
Yeah.
next to your neck under your clothing. Everybody would do this, not just priests, but
Like a
everybody
sweatband.
like a sweatband.
Yeah.
That would get soaked up in sweat, so you could just wash that instead of washing the entire shirt or whatever. And that went all around, and then it got kind of more small and simple, and then people were washing clothes more, so they didn't even need that, but it sort of looked like a thing, and then it just became this little tab that we stick in the collar.
I'm thinking more of like the apostles. I'm thinking more of Council of Nicaea.
That's what I don't know.
Mar Isaac.
We know what mass vestments. We have some idea what vestments looks like. What daily wear was, I personally don't know. I bet there's people that have studied it, but I don't know.
But do you think there was a point to where the priests knew they had to be set apart even in their clothing?
That's the part I don't know.
I read in an early council that priests, very early, I don't remember which one it was, and it wasn't ours. It was I think it was Greek, but very early one that said that priests should not wear clothing that sets them apart. That could have been because of persecution, though. But that they should blend in with the people.
Or it could have been for shuhada, like they would act like they own the place everywhere.
Yeah, maybe that. I really don't know.
Partial answer to your question is religious habits. We have records about those going really back, but that's for religious, not for what we would call secular.
Like
clergy.
manuscripts from Rabban Hormuzd.
I don't know about Rabban Hormuzd, but like just in general monasteries would have a habit.
Yeah.
We have the word iskema mentioned even in Afrahat, I think. Mm-hmm. So there was some like habit that they wore. Clergy, like a married priest in a village or something like that, or just a secular priest in Europe. I don't know about that. I just know that there's religious habits.
And I actually read one from ours, from I think it was like 7th century. They described the monastic habit, and it was like totally coincidentally just like exactly what we're wearing.
Black,
just
right?
Black. I don't think it mentioned a hood, but a black tunic with a leather belt.
But I like the idea of, I guess, looking set apart from, it also gives opportunity for, people to ask questions, things like that.
That's nice. That's great.
Yeah. Me and Father Chris, actually, last week, we went out to lunch, and there was like a group of people talking on the sidewalk, and we had to walk through them. And they're having a good time. We start approaching their group to get through. There's just dead silence.
You ruined their fun.
And they're all looking at us like we're aliens, by the way. Mm-hmm. We have our collars on. Mm-hmm. And when we're walking away, I'm like, let me just turn back. I turn back, they're all just staring at us in silence. Like, where did they come from?
That's funny. I mean, San Diego is like, it's a city, it's a secular city, but it's not like pagan or something like that. It's not like they're
maybe it was the neighborhood we were in that we weren't used to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it's sort of part of the social fabric. There's a kind of language that goes with clothing.
Yeah.
Like you dress a certain way and it kind of indicates it can at least.
Yeah.
Though there's sort of the way language, we make random sounds, but we all agree that they sort of mean certain things. So like, whatever, emo people or goth people will sort of dress in a certain way, or hippies will dress in a certain way. And
to reflect.
You look at them and like, okay, I can tell something about you just from the way you're dressed. Yeah. I don't think that's like a black and white absolute thing, but there's a kind of language that comes with that.
In
and
Rome,
so the clerical garb would be something like that.
In Rome, there's a joke. When you see a man wearing a cleric, he's a seminarian. Mm-hmm. And if he's not, he's a priest.
I've seen in Rome, they wear just like polo shirts.
They'll wear polo shirts, yeah.
Like a black polo shirt.
But I think if you're working in a dicastery, you have to wear clerics. So,
okay.
Like, or in the Roman Curia.
Yeah. So it's like a uniform
capacity.
for that.
Yeah. I think, honestly, this is a really good topic to introduce modesty. No, really, because think about it this way. When it comes to modesty, imagine if someone saw Father Ankido walking around with basketball shorts and a t-shirt. They're automatically going to say, what?
They would lust.
What?
What?
They would automatically think there's something weird. It's something different,
Unless he's going to play basketball or something.
Whatever, yeah. That's, yeah.
Basketball, the gym.
Basketball, gym, any sports. But following the same logic, when it comes to modesty and tempting others and respecting your own body, things like that, I think that's all been lost in translation, by the way, because of social norms, and because this idea that, don't judge me. It's not my fault if someone lusts after me. I'm dressed okay.
So there's
because I see it in church all the time where, people walk in just, completely dressed inappropriately. And this is at church.
So this is where what I was saying earlier about the common language of clothing, it's there. And whether even, I think as much as we try to say it's arbitrary, it doesn't matter, it's there no matter what. You know what I mean? And to say like, well, the words the sounds we make when we're speaking, yeah, of course they're arbitrary. You can make whatever sound you want, but we've agreed upon that in this language, this word means this. Similarly, like it or not, certain types of clothing, it sort of means something. Whatever the intention of the person, it means something. And so context has everything to do with it. So there's a way to speak formally when you're giving a speech at a eulogy or something like that. There's a kind of way,
Solemn.
a little bit more solemn, serious, you're on a whatever. And there's another way to speak with your friends. And if you speak very formally when you're hanging out with your friends, you look like a loser. What are you doing? What do you think? You're like. But if you speak too casually, like you speak with slang or something like that when you're giving a speech, similarly, clothing works in the same way. If Father Ankido's, or whatever example, if one of us is in a t-shirt and shorts at the gym, okay, that nobody's going to blink an eye because the context, it makes sense there. Similarly, in church, I don't think it has to be super fancy. I think there's sometimes it's really too far on the side of you have to dress very almost wealthy when you come. There's a kind of reputation around St. Peter's about that. Like, I don't even want to go to St. Peter's because everyone's dressed so nice. That's kind of dumb to worry about that. But there's like, you don't have to be super fancy, but at least semi, decent. You know what I mean? On the other hand, we all know this. For the evening masses or the late masses, we sort of know that's where more young people go, and the young people sometimes are coming from work or whatever.
More casual, yeah.
And they're wearing jeans or they're wearing whatever. As long as it's not too exposing too much skin or too ayab or something like that, I don't think it's a bad thing. But in general, is it nice when you're going to church to dress as nicely as you can? That's not like you're going to a wedding or something like that. Maybe not suit and tie, but it's a nice idea just because of the context that we're talking about.
Well, I mean both inside and outside of church, by the way, because trends happen all the time and people follow trends. And right now it's the trend of the more you show, the better you look kind of thing. I mean, I never thought I would get to a point in our youth ministry, for example, middle school, high school, where we have to start dress coding people.
I was doing that 20 years ago, man.
I know, but I think now it's.
I actually think it goes up and down.
Maybe.
I think there was a time when showing your belly as a woman was almost a requirement.
Now it's the same thing.
Okay, but so it kind of went away and it came back.
Yeah. And it depends on celebrities, high-profile people doing that. And
do you remember weddings? Once there was about a year or two when weddings, it was like a demand that you had to see the bride's sternum, like the bone that holds the rib cage together. For some reason, they all had to be low cut. That was just like the law that every bride had to obey. That's totally gone now. I haven't seen that in a while, 4 or 5 years. So it kind of comes in waves. In general, though, your point is correct. Should people care more about respecting themselves than about following whatever the Kardashians are doing this week? 100%.
Yeah.
Similarly with and I've seen men and women do this too, like with let's inject a bunch of stuff into our face to make ourselves look like the same balloon that the other celebrities are looking like. I don't even think that almost 90% of the time it doesn't even look good. It doesn't make you look younger for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a kind of, all that has to do with respect for your body. Like, I'm going to carry myself as somebody that cares about myself more than about what other people are doing, and I want to imitate them.
Yeah, and I still don't think they fully understand that, because I've had, for example, conversations with brides where we're having a full-on argument about me saying that you must wear a shawl inside of church on the day of your wedding, and them telling me, no, why should I? What's the point of that? It's
depends on the dress though, right?
Well, I play it safe either way, because if you say depends on the dress, for modesty, something that's very subjective right now. If someone says, oh, it's modest, it's fine, So I don't know. I think there's something lost in translation with that.
I mean, I think a balance is always good. You make the analogy to language. It's a good analogy because It's like language is a symbol. You know, the words that we use, the sounds that we make, they're symbols that are commonly understood, as you said. They're just universal. Well, at least in the given context where people can understand it. So clothing is the same thing. There's like in language, I have an idea that I can communicate to people in an intelligible manner, and that's the sound that we've all agreed mean these certain things. So clothing is the same. It's an outward symbol of something that's an idea or an expression that I have of myself that I want to present to the world. But in language, you know, if you go around speaking, you know, in a manner like as if you're writing a dissertation, that's going to be really annoying. That's way too formal. It's communicating something about you, I guess, which is that probably
You're annoying.
You're annoying, you know. But then if you speak too profanely, you know, and you're just like cussing all the time and you're just using like horrible language, then that's communicating something too. So it's the same analogy, I think, with clothing. You know?
From the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yeah.
Right? Christ says that? Yeah. So there's a kind of connection between your external actions and appearances and something in your heart. I don't think this is this completely black and white thing. I think sometimes people, just like they don't understand language, and you'll use a word. I mean, people do this all the time. You use a word and you're not quite sure what the word means, right? Similarly, sometimes people will wear or act or dress in a certain way, thinking, whatever, it's this. But then, oh, shoot, it means something else, and you didn't even know it meant this to somebody else. You know?
That's a good point.
What do you think, Father Tristan?
I agree.
Tilt?
Time and place, context. It's a lot of mindfulness, knowing where you are. Like, it's different when you're in the house or who you're around and whatnot. But generally, there needs to be a self-respect to be had when we're speaking, when we're dressing. So as long as you're upholding your dignity from the perspective of God, then you should be okay. Well, what does that look like? Well, I mean, if you're dressed in a way for people to not take you seriously or to objectify you, then you should reconsider what you're wearing. What's your purpose in wearing something? What's your intention for other people to see about you? If people can be more mindful about that, then I think we'd have a better society. And then you can tell if people are fully aware what they're going to wear is going to. Is that a pun or is it something? I don't know.
Aware that they're going to wear. Oh.
Aware that they're going to wear. If they're fully aware that someone is that they're doing it for the way they're going to be perceived by others, whether like to objectify themselves or whatever the case may be.
To get attention or whatever.
Get attention or to just like super fancy so people can see that, like, you know, I got money, things like that. Then it's shallow.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't hit at the core, the heart of what God is expecting of us.
There's even like a really dark side to this. Like, if your intention is, you know, here's the funny thing. Your intention doesn't even, it could be much more extreme than the way you're the way you're presenting yourself. Mm-hmm. If your intention is to cause somebody else to lust, and if all you're doing to do that is like guys like wearing a sort of like slightly shorter t-shirt, they're showing a lot less skin, but like, you know, maybe they think or they're expecting that they're going to get more attention from women. When they do that, that's immodesty, and that's an evil intention to want to cause somebody to lust. Similarly, same thing with if women if their intention is to do that. On the other side, so to intend to do that is one thing. On the other side, modesty is a virtue because of the context of the sinfulness of the people around you. Modesty is a virtue because people are lustful, and that's not your fault that they're lustful. But they're going to look at you in an objectifying way. That's a fact. That's a fact that's not your fault. That's their fault. And they should tear out their eye and throw it away. It's not your fault that they're lusting. And in fact, it's very common that a woman can be dressed perfectly modesty and men will still lust after her. 100%. So, but knowing the evil intention of others, dressing modestly is like carrying pepper spray. You shouldn't have to. I totally agree. You shouldn't have to carry pepper spray. But these people are dangerous. Mm-hmm. And because they're dangerous, it's a sad fact of reality that you have to respond in order to protect yourself.
I think you've used this example before too as well. it in the Middle East. If you're showing ankles,
Mhm.
if your ankles are showing, right? If a woman's ankles are showing, then they would perceive that as immodest, right?
Some countries.
Some countries.
You know what my mom told me when she was a girl in Baghdad? She saw a Western woman, a European or American woman, get off the plane, and she was wearing her skirt was short, and she saw the security guards at the airport or something paint her legs. They
Whoa.
pulled paint out and painted her legs. My mom's in Iraq, which is like not one of the more. It's not like Saudi Arabia
Especially
or
at the
something
time,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, especially at the time, and she saw that.
That's crazy.
that is a
This is what the Catechism says about modesty. Modesty protects a mystery of persons and their love. It encourages patience and moderation in loving relationships. It requires that the conditions for the definitive giving and commitment of man and woman to one another be fulfilled. Modesty is decency. It inspires one's choice of clothing. It keeps silence or reserve where there is evident risk of unhealthy curiosity. It is discreet.
Yeah. So it's protects,
Yeah.
and it's something about unhealthy at the end. So yeah, it protects. That means there's a danger there.
Yeah.
It's in
Risk
response to
of
that
unhealthy
the risk,
curiosity.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
because of the danger there, it's a response to that. It's not. So here's the irony of it is, it's not a virtue in itself the way justice or honesty is a virtue in itself. It's a virtue in response to an evil that's there.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It's sad that that's the way the world is, but it is. You know.
Yeah. Imagine you being the object of being a stumbling block for others in church during the, Eucharistic celebration. That's
Well, I think about
That's
the people,
horrible.
the people that dress immodestly because they feel like they have to get attention. I mean, I do feel bad for people like that because it's, again, going back to this idea that language or dress is symbolic. I was thinking about this the other day. At the monastery, we watched a comedy show. I don't remember who it was, but it's a guy who's very clean. It's a Christian guy, and who was hilarious, which you don't find anymore because people have to speak in an obscene manner now, and they have to cuss a lot, and they have to do that kind of stuff to be funny, which I think is just says that they're not that funny. They just have to use cuss
Filler,
words and really, poor imagery,
Shock value.
to do it, which means that they don't actually have comedy, and so same thing with dress. Like when people, if they're really seeking attention from people, they'll dress obscenely and poorly in order to get the attention. They'll get the attention, but in the process, they've objectified themselves. They've reduced themselves.
Or what kind of attention are they getting?
And then what kind of attention are you getting? And then what have you done to yourself? You've made yourself somebody that's valued only insofar as you dress in such a manner, and people see you in such a way.
Joseph Pieper has such a great line on this. He has a set of essays called Faith, Hope, and Love. It's a little book.
Mm-hmm.
And in the love essay, he says, this is about lust in general, not just about modesty. In that essay, he says, what's really happening, it's not that people use love to get sex. He says people settle for sex, but what they're really seeking is to be loved, and they don't have that, and they don't know how to live that way so that they can be receptive and to give love in that way. And as a sort of shallow replacement for love, they settle for it. It's a very kind of deep thing. What we're really looking for is love, and the sort of false message is, well, attention is the same as love.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get this attention, you get these clicks, you have your account on whatever where you're showing things off, and people are, you think you get all these likes, and your brain sort of falsely tells you that this is what love is. But these people don't care about you at all. They don't even know you to care about you. They can sort of see what you look like, partially because of filters and everything else, but you think that you're being loved, or you feel like that's people loving you. They don't care about you at all. But because, and in many cases, because they've never really felt that, they had a bad family or something like that life, they don't know the difference between those things. And so they're constantly seeking, it's like kind of a drug seeking mentality.
I think if they go back to reminding themselves of how Christ was able to love us, I think that is a good starting point. how did he love me? You know, how is God's infinite love for me reflected through salvation history? You know, and becoming more knowledgeable about, you know, the ministry of Christ. I think it's a good starting point. Obviously, some people, if they have that void, you need something to go along with it, like therapy or, you know, deeper conversations with friends. But
that's the really beautiful thing about the story of Mary Magdalene. If like the traditional account is right, you know, that she's the woman that
at the well,
she's the woman she's the woman that was exorcised of 7 demons, and that she was a prostitute. Yeah, the traditional story is that she was a prostitute.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard some interpretations that she's the woman at the well.
The woman at the well. Some
Really?
say that,
Really?
yeah.
With the 7 husbands or whatever?
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Okay.
I've heard that before. Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry.
But there's no like scriptural evidence.
But the beautiful thing about her, if it's true what the tradition says about her, she's the one that was out seeking love, genuine love, but doing so in this kind of morally bad way. But that she encountered divine love, true love, for the first time, and gave up that old life because she was satisfied. What she was really seeking in her sinfulness was never satisfied until she met actual love, which just points to what you were saying, you know, or what Joseph Piper is saying. Sexual immorality is actually after something good. It's just a bad means. Mm-hmm. And when you get to that something good, you don't need the poor means anymore.
Yeah. It's almost like the part of the solution is, in interacting with somebody who's living a lifestyle like that, is, okay, I'm going to show you in my example as a Christian what actual love might look like. And that means I'm going to be the one to control myself. I'm going to look you in the eyes, even though that's not what you're used to. I'm going to look you in the eye, and I'm going to actually ask how you're doing and what's going on in your heart. And I'm going to establish a connection with you between a human being and a human being, and I'm going to see you as a human being. And I'm going to start off with that. And then in the midst of our conversations, and this is something that requires patience, because that's a kind of foundational part of love, is to be patient with somebody. In the midst of that, few weeks, few months later, you've established a rapport with that person, friendship with that person, and you say, you know, maybe it's time to let's talk about how you dress, maybe, or how you act. Do you like it? Is it fun? And you have a conversation with them. Whereas if you start out, I'm going to march in, I've never met this person before in my life, you're dressed like a whore, why don't you put something on? Where's the love there?
Yeah, and I'm courageous because I'm just telling the truth.
And I'm the strong guy with the courage to say this. Yeah. No, you don't. Where's love there?
By the way, you bring up a good point, because if you're truly seeking love and modesty and virtue and all of these things, it all starts with having those virtuous friendships, you know, having people with the same commonality surround you and having these good and deep conversations. It's great because you don't have to play defense if you're surrounding yourself with people that do not agree, you know, with your same position when it comes to love and modesty. All you're doing is either going to try to fit in or you're playing defense, and that's not helping anyone. When you surround yourself with people having the same mind as you do, granted it being the virtuous mind, having good friendships, it's a good starting point. So might also be a call for reflection. Do these people drag me down, or do they help me get back up? Do they cause more confusion, or do they give me clarity?
Yep. One of the things I was thinking about when I brought up even Comic-Con, this is a very goofy thing, but there are communities built around common hobbies, right? Golf buddies, whatever, people you play sports with, people that, whatever, you're into similar things.
Subcultures,
fandoms, whatever you want to call them, people that are into the same TV show. And you remember we used to get together and watch Breaking Bad when it was first airing at the old seminary. A bunch of guys would show up. We'd have by the last episode, we had like 25 guys sitting in that kind of small room of the old sem watching those last few episodes. So this is a very kind of silly worldly thing, but there's something really valuable about it. You're talking about friendship in a kind of holy, virtuous way, but there's a sort of value in connecting with people even over sports or silly things like that, because connection is connection. And the holy stuff, the grace-filled friendships, you know, grace builds on nature. They kind of follow that similar pattern. And that's what the funny thing about the Comic-Con stuff is, like, people would naturally, there's a couple of booths that have to do with Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings people would kind of gather there. They would talk about it. People into this comic book, into, these movies, into this, like, even anime or whatever. And it was just sort of like, okay, this is shallow, silly stuff. It means nothing. But there's something touching about people making these connections with each other.
You know what you reminded me of?
Yeah.
The men's retreats that we used to have that we should bring back.
Oh, yeah.
We used to sit around the bonfire, talk about nothing.
Yeah.
And most of these guys don't know each other. And then it leads to very deep, theological discussions.
And they're friends 10, 20 years later.
Yeah.
After they go on the retreat.
That's why I actually don't think it's. I mean, the stuff itself is shallow, of course. Like whether it's a bonfire or if it's like Lord of the Rings, or all that stuff is shallow. But human beings have this amazing thing where they can turn something shallow into something meaningful by joining in, making it a means of coming together.
Yeah.
So even food is like that. Like
Food, yeah.
Food you can eat it, on your drive to work or whatever, or make it meaningful and eat it together as a family.
Now we
That's
know
literally my
how
meals are all that.
now we know how you drive to JP.
That's how I do. That's like most of my meals, but I'm a broken man, so don't use me as an example. As opposed to a communal meal.
Communal meal, yeah.
It's a totally different thing. You're right.
Taquitos never taste better aside from driving and eating them, man.
Why? Because taquitos are a sad food, and they harmonize with the sadness of that.
Why? It's great. A little quick bite.
I'm not judging you, man. I'm the guy that does it more than anybody.
One of my friends, when we were younger, we were so obsessed with them that he went to a 7-Eleven and he asked them to go to the freezer and get him a full box. We just made them at home.
The roller taquitos at the 7-Eleven, the ones on the roller.
True story.
Wow.
Those are good.
If he's listening, he'll know who he is.
I went through a good phase with those.
Yeah.
And before that, I was doing their big bites, the hot dogs.
Oh, that's low. That's a different low. Yeah.
The chili,
That's a whole
the free
different
chili,
low.
the free nacho cheese,
And bro, seminary was all that.
right?
I used to go to 7-Eleven, buy the bag of hot Ruffles and the cheese, the cheese can, the Tostillos, or
Oh my gosh.
and I come to the seminary, I put it in the fridge, I take out these hot Ruffles, put them in a bowl, I spread the cheese over, and make nachos. That would be like
That's
meal,
real nutrition right
snack.
there, man.
That and then the Costco taquitos,
Yep.
heat them up after coming back from school, watch a video on my phone as I'm eating,
Tilted.
and then go study.
I love that, because that's every part of what you just said is the exact opposite of what Father Ankido was talking about. Of the communal meal, Brother Matthew cooks. It's just beautiful.
You know who's great at that?
We had
Brother
like once a week
Sinan.
meals. We had meals once a week together.
No, we had them, but like
And there were times where we said every lunch, lunches together.
I'm so bad. Well, it's hard to do this. I mean, because of classes, everyone's at classes different.
But you need a Brother Sinan who forces it.
Yeah.
He will always force
No,
it.
I'm the worst at that.
We
I'm
are
actually
eating
terrible.
together.
Yeah.
And if not, I'm going to feed you. Or you could watch me.
Hey.
Bro.
Get this bite. Get this bite.
That's for this one.
But there again, that's about connection. And when you're like kind of a lonelier person or more introverted, it's like more of a challenge to do that.
It's a big challenge.
Right? It's hard.
I prefer all my meals to be alone.
Me too, man.
Preference.
Do you remember our bit?
What, the fridge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanna say it?
It's such a great bit.
Yeah.
Father Andy would get food from somewhere, and then he'd leave it in the fridge, and then I'd come home at like whatever time, and I'd go in the fridge. I'd check the fridge to get some food, and then I'd see like a box there, and then just take a picture of it and send it to him.
Without any text.
Without any text, nothing. And then he'd just say, okay, go ahead. Have it.
But the funny part of it is 9 times out of 10, he would do that 5 minutes after I put it in the fridge.
Oh my
It's like he had a camera in the fridge. He had a sense, 6 cents of like there's food.
One of the funniest things, we do it till this day. If me and Father Andy have a crazy busy weekend, and as soon as the end of the day, he'll text me saying, I'm going to get food. Should I drop off or do we eat together? And it depends on how we're feeling. We gauge it based
Most
on.
of the time it's drop off.
Yeah. And no one says anything. It's either dropped off at the door or we see each other, not say a word.
I just hand it to him. I don't
Yeah.
even, just like here, and that's it.
The other day we had a nice communal meal together. Bunch of cheese tikhrata and snacks and stuff like that. Here at St. John's.
Oh, I missed that.
No,
You
you
did?
were there.
I wasn't here.
You guys were all here. Yeah, we were in Father Ankido's office eating.
Oh, that was a good day. You're right.
Yeah.
That was a really good communal meal.
Cheese
Is
tijuana.
this guy kidding
He's
me?
right. That was a communal meal.
Yeah.
We got to get
Cargados.
That was connection.
Yeah,
That was a connection with
That
these
was,
things.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
tried
Right
that
about
dinner.
yeah.
it was a great meal.
And then we went to the beach afterwards.
Yeah,
That was fun. You missed that part. That was fun. Yeah. We never do that, man.
We should do that
We
more
should do
often.
that more often. We're in San Diego. We're losers. We don't do
Sorry,
anything.
this has nothing to do with anything, but I still randomly die of laughter of that bit you and Father Chris had in the seminary where he would say he would intentionally wake up at like 6 a.m. just to unplug the toaster
Oh, yeah.
and go back to sleep.
Yep.
Because every time he would go to use it, it would be
It would be unplugged.
and
And it's not like anything else is plugged in its place. It would just be unplugged. And there's
for no reason.
so I created a conspiracy theory in my head that Father Chris would do that on purpose to bother me, which is totally
He would
false.
just wake up, unplug, and go back to sleep.
Somebody had like a paranoia about it or something. Must have been.
I don't know. I still have my theories.
You know, going back to the topic, I think that's one of the great strengths that Pope Leo has in his pontificate right now is he's able to connect to the flock in a much different way than Pope Francis or even Pope Benedict was able to do during their pontificate. He's very relatable. You know, when I hear him give speeches or when he's greeting people, he's a
Chicago boy.
yeah.
Okay, here's something he said. Father Simon, as we speak, is at a conference in Rome for social media influencers. Right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
So this is the speech that he gave to them. This is selections from it. There was a couple things that I thought were good. This is the mission that the church entrusts to each of you who have come to Rome for your jubilee. You are here to renew your commitment to nourish Christian hope in social networks and online spaces. Peace needs to be sought, proclaimed, and shared everywhere, both in the places where we see the tragedy of war and in the empty hearts of those who have lost the meaning of life and the desire for introspection and the spiritual life. Perhaps today more than ever, we need missionary disciples who convey the gift of the risen Lord to the world, who voice to the ends of the earth the hope that Jesus gives us, and who go wherever there is a heart that waits, seeks, and is in need. Yes, to the ends of the earth, to the farthest reaches where there is no hope.
Well, are you sure you didn't read the whole speech? That's so what you would have said to me, by the way, in my defense.
That was paragraph 1. That was literally the first paragraph. And I have a couple more, but I'm not going to read them.
no, please.
It actually is long.
sorry.
It actually is long. But I like the idea of going to the ends of the earth.
Yeah.
And the form of that right now is social media.
Yeah.
Somebody was telling me that on TikTok, there's like a big movement on TikTok of people converting to Catholicism from the stuff that they're seeing on there.
But you know what he also mentions is to not lose a human aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because
Not to
that
go
could
after
be-
followers and numbers. Yeah.
that could be very easy to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question is always asked: if St. Paul were around today, would he be using social media? That's like always the hypothetical, you know. And I think, of course, he would, because he's a missionary guy and he's seeking to preach the word of God and get it as far as possible into as many ears as possible. He basically did that. I think in the what was that called, the Areopagus? No,
Yeah.
Areopagus. Yeah.
The unknown God thing. That's
Yeah, in Athens. So I think he absolutely would have done that. I think that it's like the Roman roads or everything else that's ever happened in history. It's a way to use it for God's glory and to save people's souls.
But
and
I don't
social
think
media
it should
should
stay there.
No.
I think it should be a catalyst to something deeper.
Yeah, well, everything is supposed to be. I think everything is supposed to be a catalyst to the liturgy, to the Eucharist ultimately, and then to eternal life from there. But that's probably the personal aspect. It's supposed to draw people into a belief in God, and then to the sacramental life, and then to a real, genuine relationship with God and with each other.
Bishop said at the God Rest His Soul, he would always use the analogy of a baton during a marathon. Everything is meant to be, passed on and taken to another level.
I mean, this is kind of like what books used to be in the, before. It's just a way of spreading the message. Now, people aren't reading books too much, I think. And the way that they're getting information is by social media or by videos or podcasts or other means like that, which is fine and it's as valuable as anything else. So
even that went back and forth because we went from a very a culture,
oral culture.
All cultures were oral. Then they started writing more, but still most people were not literate. And then, so you had some people able to read, but most people not. So that you would still have to read things out loud for them or speak out loud. And then I think in the early 1900s, everybody became very literate. Late 1800s even, you have novels being kind of created and people reading a lot more.
Why education was more accessible?
Because of public education, especially in the 1900s, you have a lot of people reading for a few decades, and now we're back to kind of an oral culture.
Oh, funny.
And now what's ironic about this is now you have your lecture online, you send it to ChatGPT, can you transcribe this? So now we're kind of in between.
Well, then okay, so yeah, that's really interesting because I'm listening to a lot more books now than I used to, like on Audible or whatever. I'm reading this novel right now, but I'm not reading it. I'm actually just listening to it, and it's a bunch of fun. And I kind of wanted to do it just to see, like, do I like the oral transmission of this better, or do I like the?
What have you found?
I enjoy it when I listen to it a lot more. I mean, it's more enjoyable. I probably would retain more stuff if I'm reading it, I think. But as far as just enjoyment, and I'm reading a fiction thing, so it's just for fun anyways.
I can do that with fiction, and I do it a lot more now because I'm driving so much. But I actually am really strict on something. I actually think it's absolutely 100% reading a book when you listen to it. I don't like when people are like, oh yeah, I read that. I didn't really read it. I listened to it. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
100 years ago, people would read novels out loud to each other. It's not like the person that was listening didn't say, I read it. You read it.
Story time.
It was story time, exactly.
In fact, even the Gospels were written so that they can be read to people in the Mass.
Yeah. That's where in the Gospels and in Revelation, there's a little phrases, let the reader understand.
Yeah.
That's the lector. That's the person who's reading it out loud. And then when it says, oh, the number of this guy is 666, and it says, let the lector understand. He's saying, look, I'm just putting this in code, and it's King Nero. Just say King Nero when you're reading this out loud.
Yeah.
But I don't want to write it down because I don't want people to say we're against the empire.
Right. You don't want the textual evidence,
There's something in I just was reading, there's a phrase like that in the gospel as well. Let the reader understand. Or Paul.
The abomination in the temple.
That's what it is. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, shall we?
So I was saying something. Okay.
Food time.
Yalla.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go.
Great.
This is from Shawarma what?
Shawarma House in Point Loma.
Shout out Matthews.
Thank you, Matthews.
Thank you, Matthew.
He was a very boisterous, energetic young man that came and brought it.
Yeah.
Because we heard him during the recording.
This is really good food, by the way. Salad's incredible.
They're not afraid of flavoring either. Good for them.
Beef shawarma is good. He was really insisting on the falafel. So maybe someone should try them at some point.
I've never had good falafel. I've had okay falafel. I've had better falafel, but I've never actually enjoyed it.
I've only had good falafel in one place.
Where?
Ankawa.
Yeah?
That's a good call.
Here's my issue. Now that I said that, rather than respect the fact that I just don't like falafel, about 50 people are going to be like, well, that's a challenge to me to make you eat falafel over and over again. And no, you have to try mine. You have to try mine.
You haven't tried mine. You haven't tried mine.
Thank you, but no thank you. God bless you.
Andrew said it. The best falafel in the world is mid at best.
Yeah. That's correct. This is good, man.
Bro, it's falafel. It's like the thing you eat because you can't eat meat.
Yep. It's for Soma.
Am
I the only one that has kept up on the movies? I saw Superman and I saw Fantastic Four.
I was with you.
You were with me for both of them or one?
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. Did you like it?
I loved it.
You loved it, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought it was good.
A good movie. I thought it was one of the best Marvel movies I've watched.
It's been a while since a really good one like that. Although I like Thunderbolts. I thought Thunderbolts was really good, but
I don't watch movies.
I didn't watch that.
You watched one movie with me one time. That was historic.
Father Ink, you don't fall asleep during movies?
Oh, yeah, I do, bro.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
How long does it take you?
solidarity,
30
man.
minutes.
He's at 3 minutes.
You fall asleep during shows?
Oh, shows? No. Not like movies. Movies, it's automatic.
Slower plot, all that.
Yeah.
I thought the Fantastic Four thing was funny because the sort of anticipation for the movie was like, oh, they're going to do this, they're going to do that, they're going to mess it up. And I heard that there's this studio leak, whatever. And people were already mad about the movie before it came out, before they had seen it. and then none of those leaks turned out to be true. Everything in the movie was
Oh,
fine.
wow.
Yeah, just very dumb, like clickbait stuff.
Kept you distracted.
Well, I deliberately don't read reviews or watch previews anymore. Next year, take all the monks down to Comic-Con. They just walk around.
That'd be
They'll
fun.
think like, they'll be like, what anime are you guys from? How's this butter? It looks really.
It's really
was
good.
it?
Yeah.
Really, really good.
I really like the protein to wrapping ratio.
What is going on?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they're messing with us.
He's laughing
Is Father Simon back next week?
this week.
Oh, he's okay, good. It's not the same without him.
Why?
He's likable.